In the quaint little town of Granny's Gorge, nestled between rolling hills and the gurgling sound of surprising squeaks, a river with a reputation for its peculiar noise, lived Professor Jacques Roques. With a wild mane of hair that looked like it had been styled by a deranged squirrel, the professor was known for his eccentricities. But nothing captured the townsfolk's fascination quite like his latest invention, a potion of invisibility. One sunny afternoon, after weeks of bubbling cauldrons and fragrant elderflower, Professor Roques proudly emerged from his cluttered laboratory with a small vial in hand, proclaiming, "I have done it! I have created the ultimate potion of invisibility." Eager to assist, he promptly drank the entire contents, swirled around dramatically, and announced, "Behold!" But instead of vanishing, he merely stood there, looking like a startled owl. The townsfolk, not having the heart to crush his dreams, simply nodded in awe. They smiled and murmured that the professor looked stunning in his new outfit, as he strutted about town completely nude, blissfully unaware that his potion had failed spectacularly. This wasn't a huge concern, mainly due to his dicky-do, which, while fascinating, left little to the imagination and, as you know, is his belly, which hangs lower than his dicky-do. The townspeople merely treated him like any other eccentric character, smiling and engaging in his delightful tales of science and discovery. There was one exception, however. Dobby Nobby, the local constable, struggled deeply with the situation. Dobby had always been prone to mishaps during his after-hours meetings at the Tipsy Hippie and Drippy Dippy, the local tea and coffee shop where the decorum was as loose as the patrons' tongues after one too many cups of mind-boggling mocha. One fateful night, while attempting to commune with the spirit of his great-aunt Petunia, who, according to family lore, was very fond of card games, Dobby accidentally summoned a mischievous imp named Spudley. This little rascal had an uncanny ability to terrorize Dobby by playing pranks and switching the constable's morning coffee with pickle juice. Dobby swore up and down that this imp was to blame for his inability to see Professor Roques. "There's a naked spirit running amok, and it's definitely not my fault," he would cry, shaking his fist at the heavens. One sunny afternoon, Professor Roques decided he would display his supreme genius once again. In an ambitious moment, he attempted to steal the local picklestick, a peculiar artifact that was a mix between a pickled cucumber and a walking stick that had been passed down through generations. It was said that whoever wielded the picklestick would have the bright charisma of a seasoned clown and the slickness of a banana peel. As the professor danced through the market, picklestick in hand, Dobby received a tip-off from Mrs. Marigold, the local baker, who reported a spooky sighting. Dobby rushed to the scene, convinced he would have to deal with the imp and an invisible menace. Chaos erupted when Dobby chased the professor, yelling about public indecency, while the townsfolk roared with laughter at the absurdity. As the chase led them to Wilhelm's party palace, where a delightful mud tub awaited, both men found themselves slipping and sliding into the bubbly chaos. It was then that nature decided to play a cruel trick. Just as they were enjoying the warm mud and bantering about the absurdity of the day, a freak bolt of lightning shot down from the sky, striking both of them directly. Instead of a tragic mishap, they were transformed into something quite marvelous. The professor found his invisibility didn't work quite as he had intended, but instead, he and Dobby became Invisible-Picklestick Warriors, a dynamic duo capable of hilariously patting people on the back without anyone seeing them. Granny's Gorge became known for the adventures of the Invisible-Picklestick Warriors, with townsfolk often puzzled by the spontaneous magic that seemed to happen around them. From orchestrating the world's largest picnic to chasing away bored cats, the dynamic duo had no end of escapades while creating laughter and joy wherever they went. And as for Professor Jacques Roques, well, despite his failure to create true invisibility, he found a new acceptance and happiness, never once feeling embarrassed about his dapper dicky-do, and often claiming, "If you can't see me, why should I wear pants?" As for Dobby Nobby, he finally learned to embrace the absurd, mostly keeping an eye out for cheeky imps while ensuring that everyone else in town could enjoy the hilarious fruits of his and the professor's misadventures. And they all lived happily and humorously ever after in Granny's Gorge.